Am I the antagonist for admitting that I don't feel like I'm a parent of three? I am a 34-year-old woman who has been married for 4 years. I have a stepdaughter named Aita who is 12, a biological daughter named Serenity who is 2.5 years old, and a biological son named Milan who is 4 months old. Before I met my husband James, he was previously married, and unfortunately his wife passed away when Aita was only 3 years old. I came into their lives when Aita was 6 years old, and when my husband and I started dating, she was 7. Our relationship has been challenging. While I love Aita and would never take my frustrations out on her, she does not love me back and resists accepting me as a mother figure. Many people assume that I am essentially her mother now, since she doesn't remember her biological mom and used to like me when I was just her dad's friend. However, once our relationship with my husband changed and Aita became aware of it, our dynamic also changed. She closed off from me and has remained distant. We have attended therapy together, but she has never given a reason as to why she was bothered by her dad and I starting to date. Despite this, on a daily basis, I take care of Aita alongside my biological children. Even before my own kids arrived, I was the primary caregiver, responsible for cooking and able to leave work if Aita was sick and needed to come home. I have tried to spend time with her and rebuild our bond, but I have never been able to reach that point. I am always available to help her with homework and ensure she has what she needs. If she ever wanted comfort from me, I would offer it, although she typically rejects it. While I still love her, I don't truly consider myself her parent. I never wanted to replace her mom, but I would be happy being a trusted stepmom. However, I feel like I have never progressed from the stage of being my dad's wife to being a true parent to Aita. I know she doesn't see me as family because she has never included me in any family diagrams for school projects. Despite this, most people refer to me as a parent of 3, and some even call me a mom of 3. Recently, my husband's parents commented on how effortlessly I handle being a parent to 3 kids and suggested that I probably want more children since I seem so suited to it. On a particularly low day, I admitted to them that I feel like a fraud when people consider me a parent of 3 because I don't feel like a parent to Aita. I explained that I feel more like someone who is just around her more often than average. They were shocked by my feelings and insisted that I am her parent, essentially her mom. I told them that Aita would vehemently disagree with that. Their response was dismissive, saying I shouldn't take a child's words to heart and that I would make Aita feel unloved if I continued to see myself and think of myself in this way. Just as my husband arrived home, he asked his parents to leave and defended me. However, their words struck a chord with me. It's clear that you genuinely care for Aita and have made efforts to build a relationship with her. It's understandable that you may feel conflicted about your role in her life, especially considering her resistance towards you. It's important to respect Aita's feelings and boundaries, as forcing her to see you as a parent may only further strain your relationship. It's also commendable that you've sought therapy together to address these issues. It's unfair for others to dictate how you should feel or define your role in Aita's life. Ultimately, it's crucial to continue supporting her and respecting her feelings, prioritizing her well-being and comfort above any external labels or expectations. Am I the antagonist for being ungrateful to my BF's parents for changing the venue for my birthday, even if they offered to pay? 2 weeks before my birthday, my boyfriend, 24 years old, male, and I, 22 years old, female, had carefully planned every detail of the celebration. We chose a restaurant near his place since I lived far away, and this place was exclusive to his city. We envisioned it as a small, intimate gathering and even invited his parents. I had set a budget for the celebration and decided to include my brother's girlfriend, making it a lovely get-together. Everything seemed to be going according to plan. On the day of the celebration, while I was on my way to the meeting point, he called me. His parents had decided to change the venue for the birthday celebration and, to my surprise, offered to cover the expenses. This sudden change left me in distress. I kept pleading to stick with our original plan since it meant a lot to me. My boyfriend's parents reassured me, saying, "Don't worry about it. We've got this covered." That wasn't the issue. As soon as my family found out about the restaurant change, they immediately disagreed because we had terrible experiences with that restaurant chain in the past. Furthermore, the restaurant they had chosen had multiple branches, so picking one halfway between our locations could have saved us a lot of travel. I was about to throw a tantrum because I was really looking forward to what we had planned. My boyfriend noticed how upset I was and repeatedly apologized for it. He couldn't persuade his parents to stick with the original plan. He also found out about the change just 5 minutes before reaching the meeting point. He promised to make it up to me. I took 2 minutes outside the restaurant to compose myself so that I wouldn't show my disappointment. What added to the dilemma was the weight of cultural customs. In our culture, it was expected that the person celebrating would pay for the bill. Faced with this predicament and wanting to keep the peace, we went along with the new plan. There was a moment where both our families were trying to pay for the bill. They insisted on paying for the whole thing since it was the first time our families were formally meeting. However, I paid because I didn't want them to shoulder the bill, as it was customary. As the day went on, I realized that I had exceeded my initial budget by twice the amount. Despite the financial strain, I settled the bill, ensuring that I had a memorable birthday celebration, even if it wasn't exactly what we had originally planned. You had meticulously planned your birthday celebration with your boyfriend and had set a budget for it. You were looking forward to the restaurant you had chosen, and it meant a lot to you. However, your boyfriend's parents suddenly changed the venue and offered to cover the expenses. This caused distress for you, as you had bad experiences with the chosen restaurant chain in the past. Despite your objections, your boyfriend's parents insisted on the new plan, and due to cultural customs, you felt obligated to go along with it. Additionally, you ended up going over budget by twice the amount you had initially set, which caused financial strain. While it's nice that your boyfriend repeatedly apologized and promised to make it up to you, it seems like you had to compromise your preferences and shoulder the financial burden. It would have been better if your boyfriend's parents had discussed the change with you beforehand and respected your feelings, especially considering it was your birthday celebration. Am I the antagonist for making my dad walk out on his own birthday dinner? I'm going to start by saying that while I, a 22-year-old female, love my dad who is 60 years old, we have a complicated and difficult relationship, and it has worsened in recent years for various reasons. Something he tends to do, not just with me but with most other people, is act like he is always the most correct and fully informed person in the room. He believes that his facts and opinions are the only right ones and refuses to consider anything else. 2 weeks ago, I flew back to my home state to visit my family and take my father out to dinner for his birthday. I made reservations at a steak restaurant he loves. I bought him a beer, and we caught up with each other before ordering. He ordered his steak well done, and I ordered mine rare. The problem started immediately when he told the waitress that I don't really want mine rare and that I would prefer it medium well. I laughed, hoping he was joking, and told him that I indeed wanted it rare. The waitress finished taking our order and left, and my dad began saying things like, "If you get sick tonight, it's not my fault." This turned into an argument about food safety and steak. My father has this ridiculous belief that rare steak and rare ground beef are the same, and that both can make you sick, even though foodborne illness doesn't work like that. I've had a food safety certification since I was 16 and have worked on and off in food service for years. Despite my experience and knowledge on this topic, he refuses to listen to me and always belittles me, claiming that I don't know what I'm talking about. This same dynamic occurred during this argument as well. I tried to remain polite and steer the conversation towards something else, but he wouldn't let it go. Finally, when he was ready to end it, he blamed my lack of knowledge on my younger age. In response, I told him that it's not my fault he is ignorant, hard-headed, and unwilling to listen to anyone but himself. I guess my dad reached his limit. He does have a history of anger issues, and he got up and left. We had taken his car, so I was stranded. However, my mom lives in that town, so I called her and she came and had dinner with me. We took my dad's meal to my grandma on my mom's side, and then we spent the rest of the evening together. I tried to let it go until my dad cooled down, but he didn't really. Since the incident, he sent me one text, which was a long paragraph accusing me of disrespecting him in public and embarrassing him. I read it but did not respond. I feel like after many years of him acting like this, he deserved it. But a couple of family members believe it was an asshole move on my part because it was his birthday. I am torn. Your dad's behavior is disrespectful and belittling, not just towards you, but towards others as well. It's clear that he has a pattern of thinking that his opinions and beliefs are the only valid ones, and he refuses to listen to others, even when they have knowledge and expertise in the matter. You made an effort to treat him to a nice dinner for his birthday, and instead of appreciating it, he started an argument over something as trivial as how you like your steak cooked. It's understandable that you would reach your breaking point and call him out for his behavior. You did the right thing by remaining calm and not escalating the situation further. It's also understandable that you would leave him on read after his text, as he needs to acknowledge his own role in the argument and his disrespectful behavior towards you. Your feelings of frustration and hurt are valid, and it's important to set boundaries with toxic behavior. Birthdays shouldn't be an excuse for someone to mistreat others or demand blind respect. It's important for your dad to recognize the impact of his actions and work on improving his behavior if he wants to have a healthier relationship with you and others. Am I the antagonist for telling I am afraid to be obese to my obese sister-in-law? I, 27-year-old female, was obese throughout my childhood and teenage years. It was because food was my comfort then. My obesity came with many health concerns. I was always sick, and I was so weak that I couldn't walk more than 30 minutes, and I couldn't wear a padded coat because its weight made my shoulder hurt. I was 5.2 feet tall and almost 200 pounds. My health deteriorated really fast, so I decided to lose weight. I lost 90 pounds but gained 35 pounds because I had depression. It had nothing to do with diet, but it started because I was so stressed about my GPA in university, and also was homesick. After I graduated, my depression didn't go away, and it was really tough years for me. I recently started to lose weight again, and surprisingly, eating healthy and going to the gym not only helped me lose 10 pounds, but it saved me from depression. Later, my doctor told me that one of the reasons for my weight gain was related to depression and hormones, so losing weight was actually a good choice for my mental health, and encouraged me to stay fit. My husband, 28-year-old male, was such a blessing through all this. We married for a little over 1 year and dated for 2 years. He was a rock for all my hard times. He is actually from an unhealthy and obese family, and he was the only one who didn't come out as obese because he never liked eating and enjoyed sports. He does not like eating because he has sensitive guts and some allergies. Last month, we went for a visit to my in-laws. I started intermittent fasting, which worked wonders for me. I didn't eat breakfast usually, so it was not really a big deal for me. But it became a problem when I didn't eat late-night snacks at my in-laws' house and went out jogging with my husband in the morning. My sister-in-law, 35-year-old female, accused me of being anorexic, which I'm definitely not. And she constantly called me out for fat phobia and antibody positivity. She also said I was a bad influence on her kids, who are also morbidly obese, even at a young age. It annoyed me, but I just let it slide. But then, one of her teenage daughters, Lisa, 15-year-old female, reached out to me and asked if she could lose weight too. Apparently, her mother said she should never bend to society's prejudice and lose weight, but Lisa disagreed. So I gave her some basic advice. Cut back on sugar intake, including soda, juice, chocolate, and cookies. Eat more greens. Take a walk, and try to go to the gym if she can. And I gave her some recipes for quick and delicious diet-friendly food like simple salads, poke bowls, and some desserts. When my sister-in-law heard it, she lost it. She called me some dirty names and said I should stop hating plus-size people and work on my eating disorder, ED. I became so annoyed that I told her no. I don't hate overweight people. I respect them. But I'm afraid of being obese because it is unhealthy in general, and it was personally damaging to my health and mentality. After that, basically, almost all my in-laws are telling me I'm in the wrong and should apologize and also get some therapy for my non-existent eating disorder. I just don't know what to do. Am I the asshole? You have every right to take care of your own physical and mental health, and it's clear that losing weight has been beneficial for you in both aspects. Your sister-in-law and the rest of your in-laws are being unreasonable and unfair. You were asked for advice by your niece, and you provided her with guidance based on your own personal experiences. It's not your fault if your sister-in-law and the others cannot handle the reality that being overweight can have negative consequences for one's health. Your in-laws are projecting their own insecurities and sensitivities onto you, and their reaction is unjustified. It seems like your sister-in-law may have unresolved issues with her own relationship with food, which could be contributing to her extreme reaction. Your husband seems to be supportive and understanding, so leaning on him for support during this difficult situation might be beneficial. Remember that you did nothing wrong by offering advice to your niece, and you should not let your in-laws' opinions affect your own beliefs and choices. Am I the antagonist mocking my BF for suddenly changing his mind? I, 26-year-old male, have been in a relationship with 27-year-old male for 4 years, and we're discussing marriage. I would say we are very happy and have a healthy relationship, and we usually strive to solve our fights in a mature manner. Lately, as we talk about settling down and our future plans, we have been discussing our future quite frequently. So, we were lounging on the couch at my apartment, catching up on some TV shows we enjoy when the topic of our future came up again. He said something like, "I hope I get an even better job so you can quit yours," and chuckled. I laughed as well because I thought he was joking, especially because of his laughter, as we both know I have no intentions of quitting my job, or so I thought. Surprisingly, he seemed offended, and his expression became serious. He asked what? And I made a joke about potentially becoming a housewife. He looked at me with a serious expression and said, "Yeah, something like that." I still didn't believe he was serious, despite his expression, since we had discussed this topic multiple times before, and I have no interest in leaving my job. He noticed my unease and started discussing how families where one partner stays at home while the other works function better, and that he sees himself as the man of the relationship because he earns more, which is true. So I should be the one to stay home. I was taken aback because it was the first time he had mentioned these ideas of an ideal family and these outdated concepts of the man of the house. I became nervous because I realized he was being serious, but I laughed anyway, which only aggravated him further. I made a comment like, "We should give you a medal. Being homophobic and misogynistic at the same time is wild." He responded with, "It's just how I think it should be." He also mentioned something about me doing childcare, but I can't recall the exact words. It was equally confusing because we had both agreed to be child-free. At that point, I decided not to take any of it seriously and made a joke, saying something like, "Well, I have a beard and I'm taller, so shouldn't you be the woman by your own standards?" He became extremely upset, claiming that I didn't respect him or his wishes, and that I wasn't willing to marry him. He went on a rant while I stood there silently. Once he finished talking, I calmly explained that we had already agreed not to pursue many of the things he mentioned. He replied that he wasn't going to talk to me when I was being so rude, got up, spent an hour alone in our room, and then left for his family's house. Later that day, his mother called me, shouting about how I disrespected him and mocked him and betrayed his trust. She didn't even let me speak before hanging up, leaving me even more confused. The phone call with his mother made me doubt if I was being insensitive since we usually have a good relationship, and he hadn't reacted like this before. So I'm questioning whether or not I'm in the wrong here. Am I the asshole? Your partner's sudden and serious change in attitude regarding traditional gender roles is concerning, especially since it contradicts your previous discussions. It's completely reasonable for you to be caught off guard and make jokes to diffuse the tension. Your partner's reaction, as well as his mother's call, seem extreme and unjustified. It's important to have open and honest discussions about expectations and values within a relationship, especially when considering marriage. It seems like this incident has brought to light some fundamental differences in beliefs, and it's crucial to address these concerns before moving forward with any long-term commitments. Would I be the antagonist if I stopped cooking holiday meals for my already burdened family? I am a 41-year-old single woman who loves cooking and puts a lot of effort into finding and practicing recipes, especially for holiday meals. However, growing up, my parents had a different approach to food. They were more focused on eating to live and didn't have much interest or skill in cooking. My mom had strict rules around food, only allowing healthy options and no treats. Meanwhile, my dad would often take food from my plate or hands without permission. Even now, he can't resist taking some food whenever he sees it, even if there's plenty available elsewhere. These experiences have caused me to develop some food issues, although not necessarily to the extent of an eating disorder. To help me navigate my relationship with food, I have been seeing a therapist for many years. Currently, I am the designated cook for our family gatherings. However, my dad, who is in his late 70s, remains a picky eater, mainly sticking to red meat and potatoes. He continues to snatch food from me while I'm eating or cooking. Additionally, my brother, who is in his mid-30s, married a very picky eater who doesn't consume red meat. Unfortunately, they have never provided me with a list of her preferences and have rejected many recipe ideas during the planning stage. Furthermore, 2 years ago, my brother, his wife, and their newborn asked to join us for Thanksgiving just 3 days before the event. Because I dislike turkey, I prepared a pork ragu, while my mom made a turkey that ended up being dry. My brother was upset because he wanted dishes that his wife could enjoy and be satisfied with, even though most of the sides and one of the main courses met her requirements. He just didn't want her to have dry turkey. Last Thanksgiving, he and his wife prepared a separate main dish for themselves, causing a huge mess in the kitchen that took my mom an hour to clean before we could even start cooking the actual Thanksgiving meal. Now, my father's health issues, including diabetes and the absence of a gallbladder, require a more restrictive diet. My mom puts pressure on me to accommodate his needs during holiday meals while also pleasing everyone else's taste buds. After last year's incident, my brother suggested that I should no longer be responsible for cooking for the family. However, with 2 kids under the age of 2, neither he nor his wife are currently able to take on that role. Meanwhile, my dad continues with his disruptive behavior around food. Cooking is one of the ways I express love, and I pour a lot of effort into it. However, my family doesn't seem to appreciate my cooking. They are only concerned with what everyone can eat and enjoy, without considering what I might like to make. This standard feels impossible to meet and frustrates me. It causes a great deal of stress. Now that my parents are older, my dad's health and mobility issues are becoming more challenging, and my brother is preoccupied with childcare. Given these circumstances, would it be wrong if I informed them that I won't be cooking for them anymore? It seems like you have put a lot of effort and thought into the meals you prepare for your family gatherings, especially considering your own complicated relationship with food. It's understandable that you feel unappreciated and stressed when your family doesn't seem to value or consider your preferences and efforts. It's also important to prioritize your own well-being and mental health. If cooking for these gatherings is causing you distress and exacerbating your food issues, it might be necessary for you to step back and communicate that you no longer want to take on this responsibility. You have valid reasons for feeling frustrated, such as your brother's lack of consideration for the mess he creates in the kitchen and the inconsistency in everyone's dietary preferences. It's important to have an open and honest conversation with your family about your own needs and boundaries. You can express your desire to find a solution that works for everyone, whether it's taking turns, organizing and cooking meals, or exploring other alternatives. Remember that it's okay to prioritize your own well-being and set boundaries, even with your family. Taking care of yourself should be a priority, and your family should understand and respect that. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.